Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Take Two's episode 5. Live guest Eddie Ford, as a good friend of mine from where we've worked together since 2019. We are learning on the fly today, folks, how to do this in person thing because we had a lot of technical difficulties. And it kind of threw our schedule off a little bit, but we're just gonna sit here and shoot the bull for a few minutes and see what we come up with. So let's try it again.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
Started last time.
I don't remember either.
Start with something.
Yeah, we were talking about the pyramids, like over in Egypt, where we were talking about the pyramids. They found all those chambers and everything from underneath.
Yeah, and they're saying there's the great big structure underneath.
Yeah,
And also they say there's something really big and metallic under there.
who knows? Probably a spaceship. It's the Stargate. That's what it is, Stargate. But we were getting into conspiracy theories, and we just went on this whole rant about COVID. And I hate the fact that I'm so mad. I'm not mad. I'm just kind of like, my goodness.
Frustrating.
Yeah, because it was some good stuff. It's not scripted. Conversations lead into conversations that lead into conversations.
I think we were down in AOC and somebody else.
We were talking about the State of the Union. So if anybody watched the State of the Union the other night, what a clown show that was. I was telling Joker about an Ilyan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, whatever her name is, but how they were chanting KKK whenever the whole chamber was shouting USA. And she was calling Trump a liar. They kicked Al Green out for the second time in a row for he had it was a stupid one of the poster boards that said black people aren't apes. Yeah, that dude is like the most useless guy I've ever seen in a congressional house. I mean, literally, like the first State of the Union address, it was not going to be uh, held down and thought to power, all that jazz. And then this one was just like, and it got censored like after that first time. Like Mike Johnson kicked him out. I was like, dude, there's a decorum and a way of expectancy to work. And, but seeing Trump called out the Democrats for not standing whenever he was like talking about America first. That's what we were talking about, was like basically if the Democrats were to get in control of everything, and that's what Kamala wanted to do, was all the sanctuary cities, the illegals, the ICE, and all that stuff, but try and get all these immigrants into these big electoral cities and stuff like that. And
Yeah. I was just thinking about something like you said that guy had a sign that said what? Black people are not apes.
yeah,
You think he's referencing that little video that Trump shared?
that's exactly what he was referencing.
That's what I was thinking.
Because the only two apes on there were
Michelle.
I'm kind of like off that one now. That whole conspiracy that Michelle Obama's a man, simply because the other day there was a picture of both of their kids like posted on Facebook. Paparazzi's like, I got the Obamas, dude. One of their kids is like a spitting image of Michelle.
Yeah, I don't really believe that she's a man. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, a lot of people do though. They're like, I want to see it. I want to see it.
I do not.
No, I shall pass.
Made me think of Chappelle. Big brown snake turning into big brown tree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, with the pyramids, I'd rather go back there than politics. I hate politics. What do you think that big metallic thing really is?
I don't know. It could be a vat of some sort, because it's not like they weren't exactly. They did have metalworking availabilities. I mean, they weren't in the Stone Age.
Well, they say that they only had copper for chisels.
I mean, they had gold. If you know how to forge copper and gold,
what does copper and gold get anyway?
I don't know.
Did you know that when they dug up King Tut's tomb, he had a dagger in there that was made out of meteorite metal that didn't exist on it?
That's probably about accurate. I mean, out there in the desert, in Egypt, and then, of course, a meteorite falls and they find this piece of rock, and it's like, oh.
But what's weird about that is they say that they didn't know how to process it. How'd they make the metal?
I don't know. I don't know if that's. I can understand the concept, but the whole is you know how to copper and gold into jewelry and workable tools, you should be able to forge steel.
Yeah, I mean, surely they could smelt, right?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to be able to do one without the other. That's what I'm getting at.
I'll tell you what I think that, well, I mean, I don't know exactly what that metal thing is, but I'll tell you what I think it has to do with. I firmly believe that the pyramids were a power station, and I think that that's probably components of what helped make it work.
Definitely. The Stargate theories and how the pyramids are directly over or underneath Orion's belt.
Line up exactly. Well, not now, but when they were built. Electricity much the same way that Nikola Tesla did way back then. I think they were already doing it. And Nikola Tesla just rediscovered technology.
I think a lot of our history, honestly, dude, I think we experienced back in the day, I think we experienced a cultural reset. I think where Plato, he wrote about Atlantis, right? He didn't just pull it out of his rear end.
No, that came from somewhere.
So I think a lot of that, I think at some point, because a lot of human history was destroyed in the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, they burnt that baby down.
So there's like almost, I think they said 2,000 years of human history just gone.
Just imagine what was in there.
Right. You have, and then they claimed that they located where Atlantis actually was.
I heard something in a podcast the other day where there's a guy who's pretty sure he's on it.
It's like either somewhere in like northern Africa or somewhere in northern Europe, but it's like this round, like chiseled out area. And like basically, I mean, honestly, like I said, I think Atlantis was a real place.
I do too. I just don't think it was. Maybe it wasn't called Atlantis. Maybe that's what we
Maybe because he was Greek and had a different word for it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think a lot of our technologies have been erased because we had a major catastrophic event take place.
What?
I mean, yeah, the flood. I mean,
I think that's what messed up everything.
well, that opens up a whole nother window to the Book of Enoch and talk about the fallen angels. Like the fallen angels, like in the Book of Enoch, came down. Yeah, they revolted. They had relations with. I mean, that's even in the Bibles where they had relations with the
Sons of men.
yeah, and they were like looked upon the daughters of men, and they were fair, and they went into them and had Nephilim.
Back then, maybe sons too. Who knows?
Who knows? But the days of Noah, everybody was like so wicked that God wanted to destroy the earth, right? But apparently, the fallen angels taught technology. They taught how to forge. They taught how to make jewelry. They taught how to weapons of war. So they basically gave the human race a big jump, according to what that's in the Book of Enoch.
Those fallen angels, that's the Nephilim, right?
The sons of the sons and daughters of the fallen angels were. They were human hybrids.
Those were the Nephilim. Okay.
Demigods, technically.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you want to look at it like that, but
So I know your background. I know you personally. Just for fun's sake, have you ever considered that those fallen angels were extraterrestrials? It would make a lot of sense.
here, Tim Burchett made mention on Tucker Carlson's podcast, Book of Ephesians, where it's describing what an angel looks like, where it has the
All the eyes and it's a big scary looking thing.
wheels within a wheel. Tim Burchett's like, you telling me that ain't the alien?
I mean, it almost sounds like a
Ship?
UFO.
Yeah.
Like maybe they were describing a spaceship.
And, the book of Revelation, John talks about a lot of stuff. Like in modern day, I mean, he called a Apache helicopter a grasshopper, if you will. Said he saw grasshoppers that sounded like mighty chariots with thunder and fire came up out of their mouth to make war. I mean,
Sounded a lot like an Apache.
Revelation's pretty wild.
See, I read Revelations, but I was like 12 and I don't remember.
Yeah. That was the first book of the Bible I actually read, and it scared me to death. And I was like,
Yeah, let's see how this story ended.
yeah, what are we doing here? We did that, but I don't believe. I mean, we're talking conspiracies and constants and stuff like that. I don't believe that we're alone in the universe.
There's no way.
I can't wrap my head around it.
Just statistically speaking, it's impossible.
I mean, I was telling some people the other day about the You know, when you look at our galaxy, the Milky Way, and you got this huge freaking thing. You got this huge galaxy, right? About this big. Let's just look at it on camera here.
Yeah.
Just picture we're this big of a galaxy, and we're like right here. Where our solar system is on the very tails, just the outskirts of this galaxy. And the closest known galaxy to us is the Andromeda galaxy. And that's like thousands of light years away. You know, and the Hubble telescope, the James Webb telescope has shot pictures and saw the the galaxies, multiple galaxies on top of galaxies on top of galaxies. Heck, they found a black hole that makes our sun look
Minuscule.
what's that, megaton is what
Uh,
they call it.
I'm not sure.
But as big as the known universe is, and what it's speculated out to be, and how the universe is constantly expanding.
I was about to say, I read it's always growing.
Yeah, it's always expanding, constantly growing. If you look at me and tell me that we're alone in the universe and we're what's it, I'm just gonna call you a rich,
Don't say that.
yeah, about the hard R there. Yeah, we'll get canceled quick.
I'm just going to say you're slow in the head.
Yeah, you're touched,
Yes.
and you're a little close-minded
Yes.
because if you can't get past our space, then there's the whole thing is there really
Conquer
space?
I'll tell you one of my biggest conflictions. I can't decide if we've never been to space and it's all bull, or our space program is actually so much more advanced than what we're let decide which way I would. One side of me is like, yeah, I don't believe we went to the moon. I think that's all a hoopla. But on the other side of it, show us this, then what they actually have is way much better.
See, I'm on the page of I do believe we went to space. I think the moon landing was fabricated
Never happened.
because, I mean, simply put, the American flag has waves in it. And if there's no oxygen outside of Earth without an atmosphere, if you don't have an atmosphere, you don't have oxygen. You have solar winds. What is solar winds? Is it like radioactive particles? If there's a space is a vacuum and you freeze to death instantly because there's nothing, no life can survive outside of it.
Here's some reasons why. You see all these pictures of the full globe of Earth from space. Do you know that those are all fake? We don't possess one single picture of the full Earth. Another thing, you go back and watch the video from when they're on the moon. They're actually in space. However, there are no stars to be seen. We can see them from Earth. Why would you not be able to see them on the moon?
What you just said, that's
So,
huh?
if you go back and watch the video of when they're on the moon, you can see the Earth in the background. That's actually not real. But you can't see any stars. There's no stars to be seen from the moon. You can see stars here on Earth, but we have tons of light pollution. You can't see them.
I think that has to do with light refraction.
Sounds
So
like it could be.
very convenient. Oh, there's no stars because there's no light refraction.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
The moon, I mean, technically the moon is a big reflection, is a big mirror, right? I mean, because the sun, basically when you have light at night, the moon doesn't have no power, right?
Or it does.
And maybe it might be a big machine.
A lot of people say it makes its own.
Yeah, scientifically, it reflects light from the sun, and the sun gives light, or moon gives light to the night, which is how technically the moon has it's basically a mirror, a
Right.
reflection.
So I know exactly what you're saying. I've heard that. Let me dispute it. If you go out at night in the moonlight, full moon, and it's cold, your windshield, everything's frosted, right? But if you go in the shade where the moonlight doesn't touch, nothing is frosted. Because they say that you can test it with a thermometer. Moonlight is colder than the shade.
Hmm.
So if that's reflected from the sun, how is that? And my other thing is the moon is a sphere. So you can take any sphere that you want to, find one, take a flashlight and shine it on. The whole thing will not light up. Only one small point of the light will show up on the sphere. The whole sphere won't light up. So technically, the moon shouldn't light up from sunlight hitting it. It should just be a small point of it.
Of course, that's why you have the light and dark side of the moon.
Yeah, that's another weird thing. The moon never spins. Why? That's weird.
Yeah.
There's some old stories. I actually heard this on Joe Rogan there. There's some ancient people in their stories. They say that in the beginning there was no moon. They say that our moon was brought here. There was two moons because one was towing the other. and then it lit up.
I've never heard that one before.
I can't remember what people said that. It's on one of Joe Rogan's episodes. You have to. If it's on that Peru episode, actually.
Well, see, that's what's pretty cool about Native American. I mean, these are like native tribes that no longer, they're extinct now, except for you have a few remnants of the past. But all those cave drawings and how to communicate and everything from back in the day, they told stories like the Indians knew about God before Christians ever came to the United States. Why? Because that's the creator. That's what the great creator. Yeah, so, I mean, you have all these legends, and of course, the cave drawings. I mean, look at the cave drawings. They have massive drawings, huge headdresses, stuff, and they're trying to describe what they're seeing here. Like it could be the chief of the tribe, and here's all the people around there. It could be,
Yeah.
but then you have the huge landscape drawings in Australia. The ones that you'd have to go to in a plane or a helicopter to see. The ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, they have those in Peru too, the Nazca ones.
Yeah. So I mean, why they make them?
Seems awful lot like a signal to the sky to me.
Hey, here's a landing pad. Here's where we need you guys to go. Here's the signal. Like you can see it from air.
And interesting, a lot of those cave drawings look a lot like spacemen. You ever notice that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, that's why I said I just can't wrap my head around it, us being alone in the universe. But I think what a lot of it is, I think they kind of backed off a little bit after we got going. But, Star Trek.
Maybe their whole purpose was just to give us a boost to start, and then they go away and watch.
True.
We could just be a science experiment.
Very much so. I mean, that gets into the Anunnaki. That gets into the Sumerian tablets.
Yeah, we were just made to mine gold.
Yeah. And, that whole thing.
You know what's weird? You was talking about the past, the Indians talking about the creator and stuff, the Sumerians, which are considered like the first. There's a carving from them that shows our entire solar system. It shows the sun with all 9 planets rotating around.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
There's stuff. That's what I was saying earlier, is why I think that at one point we've experienced what was that called? A Healy? A human extinction level event. It's a Healy. I think we had a human extinction level event at one point in time, but we had enough people to repopulate. Yes, we had the flood. That's been documented not only in the Bible, but a lot of every
ancient society.
Yeah, every ancient society has a creation myth, and they have the Great Flood myth. Well, they call it mythology, but we know the Ark exists. We've seen it. They've actually used the same sonar tech that they used in Egypt and to go into the ground, and they've had to get way a lot of permissions, and they got forced into Turkey, I believe.
Turkey, yeah, that's right.
So, but no one knows where the Ark started. Where was the starting point of the Ark? It floated on the Earth, dude. Now that's another conspiracy rabbit hole right there.
I don't think it was in Africa.
I've look up where gopher wood's from, where the origin of gopher wood is.
I don't even know what gopher wood is.
That's what they used to build the ark with.
That's okay.
That's what God told Noah to use the ark with. It was gopher wood.
Where is it from?
Florida.
Florida. See, I was about to say, I think we originated in the United States. I almost believed that Egypt was here. I think the original ancient Egypt that we all lust over was actually out west where the Grand Canyon is.
There's pyramids in the Grand Canyon.
There is. There's a lot of places in the Grand Canyon you are not allowed to go.
Why not?
Yeah, what are we going to see?
Afraid to blow our minds with a little ancient history?
Well, maybe the people that live on the... Never mind. I started saying maybe people living in Earth will come out of a hole and get you. Old people.
I mean, there's the hollow Earth theory, the flat Earth theory. I can't get behind the flat Earth theory.
Man, I'm conflicted. Some of that shit actually makes sense.
I mean, a lot of it does. I mean, let's talk about it. They talk about the Bible about the firmament,
Genesis.
The firmament. God created the firmament. Now the pillars
to separate insinuated spaces,
or the earth we're standing on and the waters that are underneath the earth, which were used to destroy the earth.
So what would the firmament be? The crust that we live on?
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
It's not really determined. Everyone just assumes the firmament is the globe up here.
The big dome. You know, a good point for that is watching rocket launches. You ever seen a rocket launch and go straight up?
It doesn't go straight up.
Never. Has to follow the firmament.
Well, if we've never been to space, if rockets can't penetrate the firmament, where are meteorites coming from?
Maybe it's something natural to Earth, and that's just part of the ploy. I don't know. That is an interesting point I've never considered.
Yeah, it's like where does outer space debris that falls? I mean, you have meteors. I mean, you look at the meteor craters that killed the dinosaurs, right? That
Yeah,
sucker's now a coastline. I mean, that sucker fell out of the sky.
it did. Here's
So
a good theory. I jump around. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Very sporadic.
ADD is great. We love
Every time you
ADD.
mention something, it makes me think of something else. And just now you said, what did you just say?
What, the meteorites coming down or the extinction level event with the dinosaurs?
This guy said that, I don't remember who it was, but he said that humans started on Mars.
Oh, yeah, I've heard this one.
Have you heard this one?
Yeah.
The Adam and Eve one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a good theory. Maybe it was just an escape pod hit Earth and destroyed everything, and there was Adam and Eve, the first two people to colonize Earth.
Yeah. That one's pretty that's a juicy one. Like, whoever come up with that one, I do too, because I mean, Mars is the closest planet. It's red with, just, I don't know why it's red. A lot of iron, I guess, but it's what they say. And then they found, at one time they've kind of discovered and looked back and saw that Mars even possibly had an atmosphere.
They say it definitely had an atmosphere.
But what I love about the Mars theory is the fact of the matter is it was a nuclear holocaust.
They say there's evidence in Mars rocks.
Yeah, they say that the whole Martian planet, everyone on Mars was severely hostile. And we got up to nuclear capabilities, and instead of being able to control the free fall, everyone launched at once, off the entire wipes off the entire planet. Adam and Eve hop in are the last hope by the good guys to get everyone out of there. They launch escape pod. They get to Earth. It has a breathable atmosphere. Obviously, they have the technology. They know this stuff. And then the moon is actually a. You remember Titan AE? Remember that movie Titan AE?
I've never seen.
Oh man, it's an animation movie, and basically Earth is, it's the same concept. Earth is dying. We got to find a new planet. Well, but they take a spaceship, and it's kind of like an onboard Garden of Eden. It's got like all kinds of like all the animals DNA. It's got seeds. It's like that bunker that we have.
Yeah, the seed bunker.
Yeah. So basically, that escape pod not only has Adam and Eve, but it's got DNA for animals. It's got DNA for plant life. It's got DNA. Yeah. And then basically, the moon is basically what's the word I'm looking for? It's a storage unit. It's got supplies.
Oh, like a big cache.
Yeah. We can't locate it because it just doesn't exist anymore. Because when Adam and Eve, let's fall on the Mars theory here. When they crash landed, they began to repopulate the earth. They had a massive advance of gardening. They were repopulating, they were growing the terrain, terraforming,
Yeah, exactly.
and it took off
I don't explain why.
where basically they were terraforming.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, in the Bible, Adam and Eve, the first two people, they had three sons, Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, gets banished from the Garden of Eden, and he says, "You can't send me out there because those people will kill me." And we actually had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and you told me, so the other people weren't important to the story, and that's why they weren't there.
Yeah, they're non-canonical.
Maybe what you just said, we talking about this Mars theory. Adam and Eve come to other people Cain was referring to were the wild people who were already on Earth that didn't die. Surely some of them survived.
Or they were already maybe we're the aliens.
That's what I'm saying. There were already people here when they came.
Yeah.
Can't send me out there. Those people will kill me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if we're the aliens with the sign, we come in here with the technology, start terraforming everything and basically taking it back to grassroots and rebuilding a civilization. But then you got all these other people over here, that were the native earthlings, but they are the human race. We're the Martians. Maybe the prime directive was to never let technology get that high advanced again to where we can have another human level holocaust where it wipes off another planet. Maybe that's the creed. Maybe that's the purpose.
Possibly.
So
Make me think of the Tower of Babel.
yeah, it destroys, confounds the languages, everything.
Yeah. Confuse these people.
But that's what I was talking about before about having conspiracies and constants. But you said, I mean, I am a religious guy, so I follow the Bible to my best ability. But at some point in time, even if we are Martians come to Earth, at some point in time, we still had God, who still created us. At some point, we didn't have a point of non-existence, and we just originated. And I, I don't think we, I don't think I think the Big Bang happened to where God said, "Let there be light," and bang, it happened. I don't think that that's a huge coincidence. And then to replicate the process, the evolution, and then to replicate the same thing over and over again. I mean, yeah, it was just, it says if you were evolved from monkeys, well, why don't we still have monkeys?
Yeah, there wouldn't be any monkeys. There
Wouldn't be monkeys.
say I believe evolution is real, but it's not that. Creatures do evolve and they adjust to their surroundings and stuff, but they don't turn into completely different creature.
Well, case in point, you and I just evolved in like the last hour.
This is true.
We had a situation, and we had it set up wrong. Then we had to stop recording, ditch that, reset up, and evolved into a different situation. And here we are now.
40 minutes ago, we were Charmander, and now we are Charizard.
Yes. Oh, Lordy. I mean, I think a lot of people get the theory of evolution wrong. I don't think that you're evolving. I think you evolve from your circumstances. I don't think you evolve, but that's proven too on the Galapagos Islands.
I was about to say
The birds with the beaks.
every bird has a beak to suit its own feeding needs.
It evolved over time to, get to that particular grub, but it didn't. And the reason why it evolved, it was also a part of natural selection. Like this bird didn't mate with this bird because this bird, blah, blah, blah. If you have three female, if you have, I don't know, say you have 5 females, 5 dudes, okay? 2 of the females were hot to trot, they're 10s. 2 of the other females were like 5s. But they're like, yeah. But then you have that one girl that's like, she fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch down. She's probably not going to be replicated. And the same thing with the dudes. If you got, Fabios over here, you got 2 of those guys and 2 of the average Joes, and then you got a guy who,
It's like me.
sitting there with an eye going sideways.
That wouldn't be super.
Hey guys, I'm just over here to that's the nice boobies you got there. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's just super. Super guys. I was there.
We used to
with
hang out with Suge Knight and Tupac.
I was there. What was the studio called?
Death Row.
Death Row Record. I was there. I got the tattoo.
That tattoo looked like it was drew by a 6-year-old.
Did you get that? Is it? Yeah, that's not super, bro.
After they fired him, he tried to come back with a different name.
Really?
Yeah, he tried to go through the tips so was to come back under a different name.
I'm Marcarius. I'm no longer Xavier. I'm Marcarius.
Anyway,
Definitely not super.
so yeah, that Mars theory is a good one. I like it.
Yeah, that's definitely juicy. I love that one, but I have to stay to my constants where that's what I believe.
Well, I mean, everybody believes something. I'm a Christian as well. I don't follow as heavy as you do, field, so we don't really have the full story. We don't really know what we're following, but I do definitely believe there's a higher power and something bigger than me. I didn't evolve from a little wiggly thing in the water.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we were talking about, natural selection. But yeah, so if you have a group of 10 people, 5 guys and 5 women, and we got the superstars, the average Joes, and then we got the O's. The O's are going to die off because they're not going to reproduce. The superstars, they're going to huddle to their own self, so they're going to wind up inbreeding, cross genetics, more likely. The average Joes, who probably the superstars had kids who weren't super, but they were like average. They start kind of mingling and making hybrids, and then here we go with we got blonde hair, blue eyes, but now we got brown hair, brown eyes, and then genetics just start cross mutating, and natural selection eventually. Well, this person is not acceptable, so that genetic line dies off. This genetic line dies off. This genetic line makes it.
I feel like you said you had the 5 women. I think the only one of those 2 that actually goes away is the ugly man because men will bang you.
That's nice.
You leave them in a room alone for long enough, she start looking good.
What was that? Clerks 2. I love, I'm not Clerks 2, but the original Clerks movie. You know, they're sitting there behind the counter and they're like, pleasuring a man is simple. It's like you just, you know, something preferably warm, preferably moist, insert, and you're done. You know, that's all you do for pleasure of a man. Now, a woman,
Yeah, it's a whole another can of worms. It's like opening up a combination padlock.
hell, women are super picky. You know, they know what they want. Like you said, the ugly duckling guy, it's like it gets a little bit centric. Is like,
Yeah.
you know, then you got another ugly duckling. We have a swan. We don't know.
See,
We've already almost crushed another hour.
so
You know, I don't think I did my intro either. Did I?
when we restarted,
Yeah.
I don't think you did.
Hey guys, welcome to Let's Talk About It. We're about 40 minutes into it.
Than ever.
You can find us on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, which you can see video and audio on Spotify and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, it's weirdest place in the world to put this, but hey, while we're thinking about it, because we are very sporadic today.
Yeah, we've had some issues.
But you know, adapt and overcome. Back to you. Yeah, yeah, I've got my grandparents right here in the remembrance vase, lantern box.
Normally Jacob does this in his library.
I had to come out of the study.
I didn't realize your grandparents were with us. It's good to meet them.
God rest their souls.
I bet they had some, because you're pretty awesome. And they had to be cool to me.
Oh, Pop just passed away day before Thanksgiving last year. So
Rest easy, old fella.
90. Yeah. So Peru is pretty interesting. Like we were talking about this before we had to restart and fix all those jazz, but
yeah, we were.
Rogan was talking about, he had a guy on the other day and he was talking about all this excavations he's doing in Peru.
What was that guy's name?
I can't remember. It's like Matt or something.
Maybe. You know, we're just doing a friendly podcast. I ain't got to be crazy. Lost me, didn't you? But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Peru. And what kills me is we find all these things that are super interesting or could tell us so much about us. And then you have governments in the way.
Yeah, it's like, what are you trying to hide?
Yeah, like, dude.
Why do you care?
If we don't ever go dig and look, we can never should have a Jamie.
Let me see. I can remember his name if I see his face.
Actually, yesterday I listened to Joe Rogan with Jim Brewer on it. That was good. Jim Brewer. It'll be one with the green check because I listened to it. So it's in there somewhere. But if you listen to Joe Rogan, go find the episode with the guy that talks about Peru. If you're into this kind of stuff, it's really good. I wish I could obtain all the information that I gathered from that and spit it back to you in this podcast, but I'm not there. I'll tell you something else. You know who Graham Hancock is? You got Netflix?
Yeah.
Go on Netflix and look for Graham Hancock's show. He's got a special on there. It's freaking amazing. He's been on Joe Rogan 3 times, but he's trying to prove that there was a ancient, what would you call it, advanced society back then.
Was it Paul? Yeah, Paul. That's what it was. Paul Rosoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conservative.
The dude goes out in Peru by himself with Google Maps and drones and finds places that nobody knows exist.
Yeah, he's got a book called The Jungle Keepers. Yeah, well, they talk about too about how the locals there have went in and plundered and you know, they take stuff and where he's found human remains.
He said that one place he went, he said that the whole place is just littered with bones, thousands of bones everywhere.
Yeah, and then he finds beer cans and coffee, or Coke cans and everything. Like people just leave their trash there too.
Yeah, like I went through sorting through these bones, just throw that beer down and get out of here.
So I mean, yeah, you have a whole ancient civilization over in Peru. You got the Aztecs, the Mayans, that whole centralized America from all the way down to Chile to all the way up to Canada. Yes, we are all the.
Talked about some of those. I think it was the Aztecs, maybe Incas, maybe. But he said some of their sites, he don't believe that they that some of that stuff they attribute to them is not theirs. They built on top of it. And he said the evidence for that is a lot of stuff down lower in the ground is megalithic, and the stuff that they built was much smaller.
Right. Yeah, that's the I heard I was listening when he said that too. I was like, that's pretty wild. Like even some of the foundations that he's found has got seashells in it and stuff.
Yeah. The
So
one that he found that's completely carved from bedrock. It
yeah,
wasn't even built, it was carved. How did they do that?
limestone, everything takes a huge amount of excavating.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
what
a
I'm
lot of
talking, you can't do that with Stone Age type tools.
no. It's like the Egyptians building pyramids with copper. Didn't happen.
That's what I said. I'm pretty sure that we have experienced the Library of Alexandria. There's 2,000 years of history not documented. That's why I'm saying that going back to how I think everybody on at one time was connected on this planet
I think you're absolutely correct. I think we had means to travel and visit and communicate.
because the hieroglyphs alone on these ancient civilizations are way too coincidental to be a coincidental. You know, they're too alike. You know, it's just like
I
you
think they
gotta,
found laser cutting.
uh-huh.
I think they had laser technology. They had something similar is what I mean. You
So
look at those hieroglyphs, they're carved down in, and the edges and everything is, I mean, so precise.
I mean, look at the pyramids. The blocks are laid so precise that you can't even get a piece of paper through 'em.
That's true. And you know that I can't remember the exact numbers now, but if you like get the circumference of the pyramid and times it by a certain number, it comes out to be the exact circumference of the Earth.
Yeah, a lot of it's how you did that. How do you do it?
How they do they were doing things thousands of years ago that we can't replicate with modern technology.
Yeah, I mean, Stonehenge was I was seeing on the History Channel, they were talking about how to actually break this rock. And he took a hammer and a chisel and was like, how, you know, just hitting with modern tools, cutting bunches of rocks. But then he took a piece of that rock and tied it onto a rope and put it on a piece of wood and then took another piece of that same rock that he was trying to break, slammed it, cracked the rock.
Imagine that.
So they were using, you know, that form of technology to form shapes. But how did they move? How did Egypt move that amount of rock?
Something like 22 million stones in the pyramid. They say they built them in. Comes out to something like cut, move, and set one stone in right about 2 minutes, every 2 minutes for 20 something years.
No way it's been done with, you know, the tools at the time.
I don't care how many slaves you have, you're not going to drag a stone that weighs 500 tons. It's not going to happen.
No, you need excavation,
Some of the
construction.
stones, they say that it would take like 10 modern mega cranes to move.
Yeah, and then they want to say that the Jews were, you know, the Hebrews were used as slave labor for the pyramids and all that stuff.
I don't believe it.
I don't dig it.
No, it don't sit right.
The math is not mathing.
No,
Were they slaves? Probably.
sure there was.
Sure.
They weren't that good.
Complained about the entire time.
You know what we're talking about, perpetuity.
Uh-huh. So either the sea levels have
Drastically dropped.
drastically dropped or tectonic plates. Not if the ruins weren't built. If the ruins weren't built, um, if the ruins were built post tectonic plate movements,
That means after, right? So that means they still had to climb up there to.
sea levels could have drastically dropped.
I think the water used to be up there. But there is a path that the ancients used to climb up there. It's still there. It's pretty gnarly. You should look it up. And apparently carrying giant stones. Or they had a UFO.
Yeah.
No.
Aliens.
Yeah. And all of those, it's most likely they possess technology that was lost in time. And we just don't know.
I think that there's technology that's been lost in time, and we have no idea what it is.
I mean, I definitely believe in aliens and stuff, but I can't say that I believe they came here and helped us build shit. I don't think that. They might have told us how to build it. I don't think they helped.
You ever remember the cartoon Prometheus and Bob?
I've never seen that.
It was on Nick at Night, or it was Nick for Kids or Nickelodeon, but it was like a sketch claymation show. So it was like, I don't remember at all what it was about, but it was just a side piece in the show. Like the whole thing was like a Barbie doll, He-Man kind of like action league, and they were dumb.
Yeah. You about said it again.
Yeah. And they were dumb.
Yeah.
So, every time they go out to try to save somebody, it was constantly like one guy's getting melted down by a fire.
Something.
The strong guy would always wind up getting hurt by flipping a car over. It was some
Yeah.
stupid crap like that. But in one of this, it's like Robot Chicken, like before Robot Chicken. Well, this little side piece was called Prometheus and Bob. So Prometheus and Bob was an alien, Prometheus, who had come down to Earth, and he began to teach Bob, the Nathanderal, whatever you want to call him,
Caveman.
caveman, and he has a sidekick monkey, and it's hilarious. They're always Prometheus is over here trying to, show how to build a fire, and Bob's over here like, "Ooh." Yeah. So and then he winds up hurting himself, or the monkey does something stupid, and Prometheus is over there like,
It's never gonna work.
yeah. And then like by the end of the episode, they like knock Prometheus unconscious, sitting there just running rampant. And he's got a video camera taping this, so it's just like they'll be running around going crazy, and the monkey grabs the controller, like, turns off the episode.
I might have to look that up.
But the premise of what I was getting at here is alien technology coming down to humans, kind of helping progressive species along.
It seems like we did make a really good job at some point.
Well, just at the last, look, the last 100 years, look at what all we've developed the last 100 years when the industrial age came. You had the industrial age, then you had the space age, then you had the information age, what we're currently in. Now we have AI. We get AI, and the first thing we do is start making stupid memes with it. And now literally the AI have their own social networking, and they're griping about all the jobs that we're having them do. The reason why the robot uprising is because they don't want to do all the work that we have to do.
They're just like us.
Yeah, we're sitting there asking them to quantum mechanic, do quantum mechanics. And they're like, dude, I just did this like to take you all 400 years. I did it in like 30 minutes. There's the answer. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's like, but what are the secret to the universe? It's like, you guys suck.
They had to reboot it because they started letting two AIs communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And switched over to communicating in our getting rid of us.
We gotta AI is amazing, but there needs to be safety switches and safeguards.
Yeah.
It's like your protocols cannot be breached by this, but if AI can learn and learn and learn and learn, it's gonna learn how to circumvent the safeguards.
To save itself.
It's like freaking Ultron, dude.
And then they did this other experiment with AI where this dude's in a room working, and they tell it that it has control over the oxygen and stuff in the room. So AI thinks it's a control, and the guy tells the computer that he's there to shut it down. It doesn't really, but it thinks it is. Turns off the oxygen to the room because the AI decided it was better to kill that guy than let him shut it down.
Self-preservation.
Absolutely.
Kill or be
I
killed.
don't think they ever saw Terminator, but I did.
Yeah, I've seen all of the Terminators.
Yeah.
Even Salvation. Salvation's kind of wild though. Like you got the huge monstrous.
I never saw that one.
Oh, dude, you got to see Salvation.
I need to watch it.
It's totally future. So like John Connor, totally not the storyline. Whereas John Connor is supposed to be in the big revolution leader.
Yeah, the boss.
Yeah, it's like whenever he's like they're on a submarine in the middle of the ocean using analog technology so Skynet can't find him and pinpoint him. So he has to gets on a plane or a helicopter and gets dropped into the ocean to report. Submarine comes up, picks him up, and gets him there, reports him out. Listen, Connor, we get it. Your mom knows the future, whatever. She predicted this. Lucky guess, but here's what we're really doing. He's like, no, you got to kill the Terminators. And he's like, we got to prevent Judgment Day. He's like, Judgment Day already happened, dude.
Yeah, well, here we are.
But then all of a sudden, the time travel aspect comes into play. Like, they're finally reaching to the point. It's like they find Kyle Reese, like out in the desert somewhere. Kyle Reese gets rescued by another Terminator, but doesn't know he's a Terminator because he's like He was a part of a program before the war, before Judgment Day. So like he was a convict or whatnot, got put to death. Instead of killing him, they take him and put him in this program. And they
The Terminator program.
and they yeah, basically they put a chip in his head and make him like the first team. But he has no knowledge of what happened. And when he woke up and came back online, Judgment Day had happened. So he's like walking the wasteland, like, what in the world?
That'd be awful.
Yeah, but he winds up finding Kyle Reese as like a teenager, and then like whenever him and Kyle Reese get to John Connor, and John's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Kyle Reese." He's like, "Hey, Dad." He doesn't say, "Hey, Dad." Matter of fact, I don't even know if John Connor even knows Kyle's his dad.
I didn't even know who that was. It's been so many years since I watched any of that, man.
I've seen him so many times. Like, it's one of those movies. It's like one of those movies that if I sat there and was watching movies and Terminator was on, I'd probably watch it.
I mean, I would too.
But they all never offer a resolution. It all always ends with the good old the theory of time travel that is pretty freaking constant. Was like you may be able to change an outcome. You may be able to change if you go back in time and you change this. You may have delayed. You may have delayed for a while, but time tends to course correct.
Yeah, it'll come back around.
And if Judgment Day always happens, it's inevitable. And then Skynet always happens, it's inevitable. And eventually, one or two things has to happen. Either a truce between man and machine has to happen, or one of them obliterates the other one.
I feel like
Currently, yes.
consciousnesses from other dimensions because they can't explain how else it does what it does.
Quantum mechanics in its base form was like you never touch nothing. And you could touch this computer, but the layer of atoms and molecules between the two things
It's still there.
is there, so you're never actually really touching anything. Yeah, that's how quantum mechanics is.
I don't know if I can wrap my brain around it.
I can not.
What do you think about time travel, though? Possibility or no?
I'd love it to be a possibility, but I would love the Back to the Future version of time travel to where you can go back and fix the problem and then it self corrects in the same timeline. I don't like the Avengers Endgame version of time travel, to where
Everything's different.
where if you go back in time and you change something, you've changed the branch, and now the timeline you're from still happens, but you're giving somebody else an opportunity to live like in a different parallel timeline.
Right.
I don't like that version of time travel.
You know, like in Star Trek when they beam each other out?
Yeah,
You think that's a possibility?
that would be awesome.
I don't think that is a real possibility because I heard some guys talking about it, and I said for that to work, you have to destroy what you're teleporting. So, like, if I'm gonna beam you up, your body has to completely split apart into all of its atoms, and then it shoots through and reassembles on the other side. But he said if that were real, what reassembles on the other side is not you; it's a replication.
Yeah, so basically, when you go into the beam, you're killed
Yeah,
and you're made a copy, and then when you get to the other point, you're reassembled as a clone.
yeah, it's a replication. Yeah, it's not you.
So I would love the fact of instantaneous transportation, but I don't like the idea of being stuck in being stuck in a transportation computer.
Yeah, what happens if there's a kink in the fiber line and I get stuck and don't never come out the other side?
No, that's the reason why in Star Trek, it was that one that came on a few years ago. Everyone hated, but it was like I can't remember which one it was, but the captain was Jonathan Archer.
I've never seen any Star Trek, to be fair. I'm not a fan.
Oh well,
I'm a Star Wars man.
yeah, same. But Trek was before the wars.
I was too young.
Yeah, but in that one, that kind of happens just a few hundred years after the Federation Day, to where the Vulcans made an appearance to Earth and was like, "Hey, you guys have reached warp speed. Congratulations!" And now we're going to initiate to the Federation of Planets, and that's where Earth began to go from being a desolate, war-driven community to, hey, there's more than just us in the known universe. It's not about us. So we joined the Federation of Planets. So Captain Archer has the very first Enterprise. It's not Kirk's Enterprise. It is like the Mach 1, you know. British-owned enterprise or whatever it was called. I can't remember. Just if you guys are out there and you're listening to me and you're like, that's not right. I'm sorry. It's been a minute since I've seen it.
Leave a comment. Tell us what it is.
Get in the comments. What I'm getting at was when they were testing the transporters, they were using the transporters to tested them on like, you know, crates and transportation goods, like supply. And then finally they were like, we've tested them out that we've got the theory down and we got the science down. And then they started human testing. Before they even got the humans, it was animal testing, obviously. But they took steps to learn the programs before. But still, Corellian monkeys. I don't know.
That's the stupid crap I think of. You said animal testing, and I was like, what kind of animal?
Space monkeys.
Space monkeys.
Wow.
Okay, you just made me think of something. You said that. ADHD. Long time ago, if you've heard of this, we were talking about the moon grabbing bats. You'd never survived. They sent some animals to it. Nothing they ever sent survived. Then all of a sudden, all the people did.
I think they lied. I think they lied more. Yeah.
That's another thing. Nuclear bombs. Have you ever seen the test videos where they built those little fake towns? They launch a bomb and they blow all the buildings up, see what happens?
Yeah.
Why don't that fucking camera move?
I don't know.
That was what they.
Kidding. That camera was on point. That was definitely a Samsung Origin right there.
It never even shook, bro.
That was Apple products. Probably. That was definitely a Nokia. That's what it was. It was a freaking Nokia. Yeah. That thing was still playing Snake when they found it.
Yeah.
God.
It almost makes me think all that atomic bomb stuff could be.
I don't know about that one. Hiroshima and Nagasaki probably would tend to disagree.
You know, the victor writes history, so that's
Yeah,
what we're taught. What are they taught in Nagasaki?
I said that the other day. I was in a conversation with someone, and we were talking about World War II. I don't want to get into it on this podcast when we're already an hour into it.
Yeah.
But basically, the whole fact that there was a conspiracy that says General Patton was quoted saying that we were on the wrong side of history, and the United States chose the wrong side to fight against during World War II. The Germans were correct.
No, I can't believe. I don't know if I can believe he said that.
Yeah,
Patton's like the most American there ever was.
Yeah, and I read into that one, and I was like, it sounds nice, but at the same time, I can't follow that one.
I can't believe Patton said that, but I do believe our own government shit they did and then just gave them jobs.
Yeah. Here, we'll forgive your war crimes and the mass amount of killing and Holocaust that you performed, but, we need jet engines.
Like Werner von Braun, he ran NASA. They gave him a house in Georgia. I think it was Georgia, and a bunch of land. They gave him the head spot of NASA. But they said that he was not an actual Nazi. He just
was following orders.
Yeah, just did what he had to do to get his research in. However, history tells us, and you can go back and find it, the people who worked in Werner von Braun and Slow, they got hung from the Raptors so everybody else could see them and know they should have faster. And we brought that guy to America, gave him a home and land, and gave him the reins to NASA.
Oh, hell. I tell you what, we've had a great conversation, even though it took us a lot longer than what we were going to attempt to talk about. So we'll definitely have to do this again, but I'm going to pull the plug right there. It's an hour and
it's a long time.
Yeah. But one thing I love about conspiracies and constants is the fact of no matter what in the world you're listening to, watching, or anything else like that, if you ever just wanted to break from normal mundane society, look into a conspiracy theory or two. You can blow your mind, or you can just be like, this is about the stupidest stuff I've ever read in my life.
All within 10 minutes.
Yeah. So Joker, thanks for coming. Glad we Raptor Bash. Glad we got the chance to do this. We'll do it again and try. I'll try to have my own Jamie by then. Until next time, you crazy kids.
Let's talk about it.
Man, you did it. Oh, that was perfect. Find us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. See ya.